problem, guys. We'll Coach start with a brief opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
All right. I thought there were times when we played well against Liberty. Particularly there, a stretch in the second quarter, able to score 2 touchdowns on them in a row and hold them. We just got to be more consistent across the board. That's on all 3 phases. And I talked with that on the team yesterday in our Sunday meeting. We just got to be more consistent, and that's something that is going to be a great focus for us. You heard JoJo talk about us maybe not having the best week of practice, and that message was from me. I didn't think we had the best week of practice, and that led to the inconsistencies. And so you earn the right to win during the week. It's cliche because it's true. And so we've got to make sure we do a better job this week going to play a very good Buffalo team. So let me open it up from there and go from there.
What do you know about Buffalo at this point?
Yeah, obviously they're a very good team that has had a lot of success recently. I know they have a new coach, but there's a lot of guys there that have won a lot of football games. Very physical team, good front 7, defensive line and linebackers. Not to take anything away from their secondary, which is also good, but they've got a very talented and physical front 7. And then on the other side of the ball, they've done a nice job of being balanced, but it's built around their offensive line and running backs. Their offensive line has led to a good running game. They've got 3 running backs that play, and they've given up 0 sacks on the year, which means that not only is their offensive line playing well, but their quarterback's getting the ball out on time, and their wide receivers are showing up where they need to be when they need to be there. So they've done a nice job, and they've played a tough schedule and competed in those games, so it should be a good challenge for us.
Yeah, Coach, you talk about a poor week of practice leading into some inconsistency on Saturdays. Are you able to pinpoint why there's maybe a little bit of a lack of focus during the week, or are you able to sort of be more specific with that?
I think if I could pinpoint why we were going to have a bad practice, we would never have a bad practice. And I'd be, I think all coaches are trying to eliminate that on the front end. And I wouldn't say that we had a bad practice week. I would say that we had an inconsistent one. There were some times during the week that we did some very, very good things. We just weren't able to sustain that intensity and that focus throughout the week every single day. So we've got to make sure that we do a better job on that. I think we had a good start yesterday. I thought yesterday was our best Sunday practice probably of the year. And so, I see a lot of guys around the facility today on Monday, which is our off day. So, obviously, I told them knowledge is power, and Monday's about knowledge. Knowledge, about our opponent, making sure we're getting into our books and getting a lot of study hall hours done and those sort of things. And so we've got to make sure that we win every single day. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that we go out there and have a good day on Tuesday. But I think my job is I've got to make sure when I see it maybe slipping, I've got to stop the slide immediately and not let it go any further.
And to the very casual football fan who doesn't pay close attention, Liberty and Buffalo don't seem like tough opponents, but they're both really good teams, are they not?
Yeah, Liberty will be, when it's all said and done, obviously, I don't know the rest of their schedule. I do know they play Syracuse this week, only because Coach Freeze mentioned it, but they're probably going to be a top 20, top 15 team. They're a very talented team. They've done a nice job building it. And Buffalo has shown in the past that they can be a contend for the MAC championship, and usually somebody who contends for the MAC championship is a top 20 to 25 team. So, they're both very good football teams. I thought we proved last week that when we play the way we're supposed to play, we can compete against those teams, and we can and we can move the ball and we can stop them and do those sort of things. But it's got to be something that we do and we execute, every single play, and we can't pick and choose which quarter we're going to do that. Not against teams like that.
How do you handle a bad like Kevin Marks, and does TJ help you? Them both going your view.
They do a nice job, and he's a tremendous back. I think that they've done a nice job of playing all three backs and keeping them fresh, which helps him be successful. And very similar to us. They've done a nice job being able to rotate backs in there and create a nice job in the running game and those sort of things. He does a nice job of seeing the holes, and when he sees it, he hits it pretty hard. So I don't know if TJ's got any insight or anything like that, but I do know this: we've got to stay in our gaps, and we've got to tackle. That's going to be incredibly important this week. Is that we get knocked back at the line of scrimmage and then we tackle.
You played a quarter, 25% of your game so far. What's been the biggest positive surprise for you so far? You're going through 25% of your games.
I think just the overall attitude of the team has been so good. I mean, I think that whether the circumstances have not dictated their behavior, they've played hard, whether we were winning big or whether we were down. They've been very supportive of each other throughout, whether they were dressed for the game, whether they were playing, whether they were the starter and they weren't in at that point. Everybody's been pulling the rope in the same direction, and I think that's probably been, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a surprise, but it's been something that I've been proud of and something that we need to continue on and build on throughout the rest of the 3 quarters of the season here.
Off of that question, do you have a grade you can give your team after the first quarter?
I think just like maybe I'm biased on this, but just like anybody else, incomplete. I mean, I think that it's an entire season. That we break down into 12 individual 1-week matchups. I know some people go by, try to say, hey, after the first quarter we need to be here, after the second quarter we need to be here. I just think that's not how I was raised in this business, and so I'll look back and reflect on this season when all 12, 13, 14 games are done. Until that point, I'm probably not going to be willing to give a grade, and I would hope that the professors and teachers on our campus allow our guys to improve throughout the season as well.
Ricky, I'm going to ask a similar question, but in a different way. You're 3 games in as a head coach. You know better, or as well as anybody on the planet, how different a coordinator's job is from a head coach. Have there been surprises in your job that you did, things you didn't expect as a head coach?
I would say surprises in my job, things maybe I haven't expected, or I wouldn't necessarily say I haven't expected it, but it's my job to make sure that the mentality of the team is going in the same direction the whole time, while my expertise is probably in the X's and O's, right? So managing that yin and that yang there is probably the biggest thing that I'm still getting used to. Where to stand so that I can still be a major impact and see the game and still be a major impact from an X's and O's perspective, but not be away from everybody so that I can still be managing personalities, managing the officials, those sort of things. So that's still something that I'm working on, and I'm going to continue to work on. Where is the best place for me to be at that moment? And that's probably been the best. And then the other one is, I thought I was really going to have to manage my emotions and things of that nature, and I've found that our team plays better when I don't. And so I need to be myself and be enthusiastic and passionate, because our team just responds better to that than when I do manage my emotions. So that's the other thing I've learned. And not all teams will be like that. Right? We'll probably have a team someday that that doesn't respond as well when I'm being passionate and things like that. And then at that point, I need to adjust. But this team responds better to when I am showing emotion and things like that. And so I've got to understand that.
Going back to Buffalo, the two teams kind of similar. Buffalo installed new offense out last season after having the coach leave in April?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same amount of film on both of y'all. How have you, gotten ready for them so far, and what do you think that's going to show you, the new offense?
Yeah, I'm sure we both looked at tape in the off season to try to prepare for each other and come up with a kind of a preliminary plan. But ultimately, it's about these 3 games that we've played and watching those 3 games, and that's what I know that we're both building the majority of our game plans on, knowing that we both know that there's going to be something that the opponent hasn't shown that we've got to be prepared for, and how do we adjust to that when that happens. But I think that you're exactly right, Reese, that we're very, very similar, and we're probably preparing in the same way off those 3 games off each other.
Okay, is there anyone that you sort of relied on for, when you have a question about something in your mind about you're doing as head coach that you're calling on, James or anyone, or are you calling people for advice?
I have a lot of respect for a number of coaches in this profession, James Franklin being one, obviously, and guys like Dave Brock, who coaches for the Falcons and things like that. Those guys have got their own problems, right? And so, I haven't called on them. I've relied on the guys on my staff. I hired smart, capable people who are intelligent and who know when to tell me that I've made a mistake, know when to tell me when they think I'm doing something well. And so if I have a question on which way to go, I generally ask guys on our staff, right? They know our team better than somebody as an outsider. As much as I respect Coach Franklin, and no one on this planet Earth respects him more than I do, he hasn't been around our team, and I think he would say that. Probably the first thing he'd say to me. I can already hear him. Well, Ricky, I don't know your team very well, and I know Dave Brock would say the same thing. So I think it's really about asking the guys on my staff, and I have some very, very capable, intelligent guys, and that's why I hired them, is so that they could tell me when I've made a mistake. So that's generally who I've gone to.
Yeah, Coach, following up on that a little bit, have you had a moment where maybe you used to think, I never understood why Coach Franklin handled this way, or why Coach Brock approached this the way he did, and have you had a moment where you kind of were like, oh, I get it now that I'm sitting in this seat, I understand why they may have done a certain thing a certain way? Have you had any moments like that?
I haven't. I feel one of my strengths is I'm pretty self-aware, and while I may be upset with why in the past the head coach has handled something a certain way, and I may not have agreed with them, I've always understood why they did it. And mainly, that's probably because I've been under people who were very good head coaches and good at their jobs, and again, maybe I didn't agree with them, and I might have disagreed with the decision they were making, but I always understood why. So there hasn't really been a moment where I've been like, oh, that's why they did this. That hasn't happened. It's been more about thinking back to situations we've had, how was that handled, and whether, one, I liked the outcome of what that decision did, or two, whether I agreed with it in the moment, and then now looking back on it saying, okay, now he was right, I was wrong, and I'm more than willing to admit that. You can ask my wife. I'll say when I'm wrong. She doesn't like to admit that I admit that I'm wrong, but I do. That's a little pro tip for everybody. You need to in a marriage say when you're wrong. Don't ever say when you're right. That's a little pro tip.
And then we've got her coming in next.
Yeah, hey, you guys probably should. If you want the real brains of the operation, there you go.
Anything else for Coach?
I asked this Saturday night, but I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah, please.
The Hudson Blue. How excited are you guys to be wearing that? And do you think that'll make a difference with the fans?
I'm excited about the Hudson Blue because, it's one of our traditional colors, and every single team on this campus is worn it except for us. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to go out there and play in a color, an Old Dominion color, and rock it and those sort of things. I'm upset that I don't get to wear it. I think it'll bring out my eyes. You know what I mean? So, but we'll be in the navy, so the players get to wear it, but we don't want to blend in with them. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great look. I think our guys look great in it. I think they're very excited about it. but after 2.5 seconds, you don't remember what jersey you're in anymore. You're in a dog fight, and you know you're playing against a good football team in Buffalo.
So is it gonna be blue pants too, or white, or?
It'll be it'll be blue Hudson blue shirts, Hudson blue jersey, and Hudson blue pants as well, and go from there.
Ricky, you mentioned that Coach Franklin has his own problems. You got your own problems. Do you still keep up with Penn State? You're not that far removed from it.
I keep up with Penn State in the scores and things like that because I have a lot of people there that I care about. You know, I mean, obviously Coach Franklin is somebody I care deeply about. You know, there's guys in that administration that are off the field that I've known and worked with for a long time that I know give their blood, sweat, and tears for that place. I mean, their chief of staff, Kevin Threlkill, was my student. He was my student assistant when I was a GA at Kansas State. So, I mean, I've known some people there for a very, very long time. J1 Sider, you know, Brent Pry, who I've been through battles with, and, you know, Terry Smith and those guys. So there's some people there that I've got some deep feelings about. So I keep up with them on that end of it. And then the players, you know. There's no one on this planet besides his mom and dad who are great, great people, but who wants to see Sean Clifford be more successful than me. You know, I mean, so the fact that he went out there and played the way he did is awesome, especially in that environment, you know, and that sort of thing. That's a pretty special deal. But I keep up with all those. I keep up with a lot of people like that. I mean, there's a lot of these players that have helped me get to where I'm at. You know, so, you know, Pat Freiermuth with the Steelers, I'm going to follow him and make sure how he's doing. You know, Will Levis, who's now at Kentucky, you know, I'm going to make sure he's doing all right. You know, that sort of thing. And you know, I text all those guys and tell them great job when they win and all those sort of things. So, yeah, I think everybody in the country is going to keep up with those people. You build some bonds that are hard to. They're not going to go away just because you leave. You know, I mean, you're with those people forever, and you know, those people's parents still write me and things like that, and wish me good luck in the games. And so those are bonds that are going to be there for a very, very long time, and hopefully, you know, I've already got invites to a few weddings this summer from some other guys, you know, and that sort of thing, which, you know, is horrifying at the same time, because that just means you're getting really old, right? I probably get a few more wedding invitations than I used to, I think, because they think I'm the head coach, like I make more money, you know what I mean? So they think they're going to get a better sterling silver tea set that they're never going to use out of it. But yeah, it's in general, I'm going to keep up with those people forever.
Did you hear from a lot of those people after your first win?
I think more importantly, I heard from a lot of those people after my first loss. So I think that's probably more important, that the people I'm talking about aren't just going to be there for you when you win. It's easy to be there for somebody when they win. It's a lot different to be there for somebody on the Tuesday after your first loss, right? And so those people I'm talking about are those are the people that are there for me, you know, through thick and thin, you know. So I think so I'm going to be there for them, and obviously I'm going to feel very, very excited for them when they win. But, you know, maybe we weren't playing last year, but I text Sean Clifford and Jahan Dotson after every game they played last year, right? And I know they started off the rough, and then they finished how I know they can play football, and then it's carried on to this year. So, you know, they know I'm there for them always, and I don't expect them to do anything for me, and they, you know, it goes the other way. I'm just there for them, and very frankly, they're the same way.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Career high 4 catches for 60 yards last week, leads the team with 10 catches for 140 yards. Nathan, you ready?
I'm all set.
All right, Nathan, since you're ready, you ask the first question.
How do you feel about the progression of this offense? I know that, you know, the first week it was pretty rough. The second week, you guys were, obviously school record.
Mm.
Last week, again, it was a tough environment on the road, but it seemed like it was clicking just a little bit more. How do you feel about the progression of the offense and of DJ as things have gone along?
Yeah, well, obviously going into week one, every team has their bumps and kind of those growing pains. You get some new guys each year. Each guy kind of finds their role of how they can help the team win. And going from week one to week two is always a huge jump, offense and defense, just really the team in general, of making those improvements. So I like the trend of where we're going with the offense. We're critical of ourselves and the things that we're doing, and we know the things that each of us can individually do to improve. And I know we'll do those things moving forward. So I'm really excited how the offense is trending.
What do you think about DJ's play, and how do you think, how much better do you think he's getting as the games are going along?
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Big thing with quarterback, obviously, he's building that chemistry up with his receivers, his tight ends, and really the O-line too. And so with each rep of practice throughout the week, each rep during the game, we're building that chemistry up more and more. So it's only going to get better and better.
Zach, I know that you guys probably haven't had too much time to watch Buffalo yet, but when a team plays Coastal Carolina that closely, does it get your attention?
Well, we look at each team the same each week. Monday is a big day to kind of break down that film and kind of see who we're going to be playing against. Obviously, we're not Coastal Carolina, and we run a completely different offense and have completely different coaches, everything. Obviously, you notice those types of things in the opponents they play, but it's a whole new ball game when they're coming onto our turf and when we're playing. So take that day by day.
Do you know anything about them yet?
I watched a little bit of film on them, but again, it's early in the week. Got this whole week to prepare for them, and our coaches put us in the best positions to be successful.
Zack, why did you come to Old Dominion? What was it about Old Dominion that led you to decide to come here? And did you had other choices, I assume, too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a couple other choices of some coaches I was talking to. But honestly, when I was kind of breaking it all down, Old Dominion just kind of became a no-brainer for me, and being able to be familiar with the offense, and not only just being familiar with the offense, but I know what I'm getting out of the coaches because I've had prior engagements with them at Penn State before, and I know the types of coaches they are, and I know the types of messages they portray to their players, and I'm all the way to the strength staff too with Deej. And these are connections that I've had, and you heard Coach Rahne kind of talking about just building those bonds with people, and those are things you will have your entire life, And for me, coming out of the transfer portal, already having those prior connections and just them telling me the opportunities that I would have here, it was a no-brainer for me.
How similar is this offense to what you did at Penn State?
It's very similar. Obviously, a couple different tweaks here and there with Coach Campbell. But being able to pick up any offense, you got to be able to do it quick, and that's kind of how the game's changing. You see it in the pros all the time. Guys are on one team this week, and then a couple weeks later, whole new offense to pick up. So it's obviously a good skill to be able to pick up an offense quickly and understand that. But being familiar just with some of the terminology has been really helpful.
With some guys, I know you like Penn State a lot, and was it difficult, even though you knew you needed to go someplace to play, was it still difficult to leave?
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, you build those bonds, and I love those guys over there. I got most of my boys are still there playing, so I'm still texting them before games saying good luck. They're saying the same thing to me. But you got to make hard decisions, and I got to do what's best for myself in the end.
As far as I know, this is your second press conference at ODU, counting Saturday.
Yeah. Yes. Second one.
How do you like doing it?
How do I like doing it?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm always open to some questions. I feel like I can handle myself well with everything, and so yeah.
I know obviously you were playing the game on Saturday, but afterwards, did you take a look at the replay of Penn State's game on Saturday, and did you talk to anybody up there after the game?
Yeah, I saw some of the updates. You can just open up your phone and you got the world at your hands, so it's pretty easy to see all the updates and everything. And
obviously was getting updates from some of my friends watching the game and talked to them after. So happy for those guys getting the job done.
Ricky mentioned Saturday night that it would be a somber bus ride home. How long does it take you guys to turn the page on a loss?
Oh, well, obviously, I think it's important to take the loss in. I mean, you can learn a lot from losing or failing of anything that you do. Sometimes you can learn more than when you have successes, and because you harp on things that you know you need to improve on, and you can look at those things, and that's the great thing about now until Friday night when we're going to sleep ready to play the game. Is you have this entire time to work on those things, and today's a great day for that, like to get ahead on film studies, get your body right, just getting ready for the preparation of going into the next week. I think it's important to take the time to feel the loss, and then there's a point, I'd say today, honestly, for me, where you turn that page and you get ready for your next opponent.
Yeah, Coach Rahne talked about he's still getting to know this team.
Mm-hmm.
As a part of that team, if you were to describe the personality of the 2021 ODU Monarchs, what would you say?
Describe the personality. I think if I had to put one word on it, because it is different. It's different than prior years where you have the same group of guys and you've known each other for like years and years and years, or it's a little different where you have transfers from here and you take different pieces from different spots. And football is a game where it's 11 guys going against 11 guys. It's not another sport where like you can just have one guy balls out, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of leadership on our team, and there's a lot of guys who take on those roles. And trying to think of if I think of one word to describe us, I might have to get back to you on that.
Feel free to use a couple.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we're all a really hard-working team. I think we all really care, and that's, for some teams that's hard because and we're all bought in, and I know that for a fact. We believe in our coaches. We believe in Coach Rahne, and although we haven't had successes in every game we've played, we know the things we need to do, and we trust our coaches, and they are going to put us in the best positions possible. There are a lot of things that we need to execute as players better, and like I've been saying, that happens today. Or the things you're doing on Monday, the things you're doing on Tuesday are directly translated to the things that you're going to have happen on Saturdays.
Follow up on that. You say that you guys trust the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a sense that, obviously it's the program's first season in 2 years, new coaching staff, tough schedule. Do you guys kind of tell yourself, hey, we're going to have to go through some growing pains. We understand that it'll take us a while to start clicking, at the same time still realizing, hey, we trust this coaching staff. We trust what they're doing, even if, we kind of have to take a few on the chin before things start rolling. Yeah,
well, what I'd say on that is I don't think any of us admittedly think that we have to take ones on the chin. I think we all have confidence in ourselves, and we know that we have the ability to beat any team that we suit up against and go play. And because we have the athleticism, we have the players on our team right now that we can go toe to toe with most any team, and we feel confident in that. Obviously, there will be some growing pains with what you said, with the different factors that go into it, and that's not something we're laying out and saying like, okay, we know this is going to happen, but internally, like, you got to know those types of things going into it. And but like I said, we feel confident in ourselves and in the athletes that we have and in the coaches that we have to get the job done. We got to build up the chemistry more, and like I've been saying, and I think that's a huge part of it. But as I said before, we're completely bought in, and we trust our coaches to put us in the best positions possible.
Saturday night, you said 45 pounds here is 45 pounds anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How has this? How are ODU's facilities to you, and how is this different? I mean, I know it's different for Penn State, but could you, players different, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, obviously it's going to be a little different from one place to another, regardless of conference or whatever. But again, I think a lot of it matters of the players that you have in the locker room and the coaches that you have with you, because you can have the nicest facilities in the country, but if your coaches don't care about you, then I mean, how good can it really be? You know, I know I said like the 45 pounds here, it's 45 pounds there, but when you know you have coaches that love and care about you and want the absolute best for you, not just in football but in life, it gives you a little bit extra. A little extra push, especially when you're feeling tired and those types of things, and because you don't only want to do well for yourself, but you want to do well for your coaches because you know how much they care for you.
Did you know that when you decided to come here that kind of care was here?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
We got time for one more question if anybody has anything else for Zack.
Do you feel like you are becoming the go-to target in this offense a little bit?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a go-to target, but based off of what the defense has shown, based off of what our coaches are calling, it's been going my way a little bit, and so whatever it takes for us to put some points on the board and get some wins.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Zack.
Thank you very much.
He is the tallest target we've ever had. He's fourth on the team with 13 tackles. First 3 starts of his career, he redshirted way back in 2019. So I think you're a redshirt sophomore or junior.
Junior.
Redshirt junior, at least that's what we're calling him. We'll take questions. Nathan, you want to start it off again for us?
Sure thing. I guess first of all, just you guys 1-0 in your own stadium so far this year, and it was a pretty good night. So putting the road games aside, how much confidence do you guys have just playing in your own building, no matter who's on the opposite sideline?
We always want to win at home, so that's the key goal when we play at home. So that's all I got for that.
So you're wearing Hudson blue today.
Yes, sir.
How excited are you guys to be wearing it Saturday night?
For it to be our first time wearing it, we're all excited, and we're trying to get a W in it. So, like I said, we're always trying to win at home.
Do you know how important this? You may not know. This is the old school color. It's for a lot of older fans, people my age. It's a real important thing. Are you guys aware of that or?
Nah, this is my first time hearing something like that. So, with you saying that, we definitely trying to get the win.
RT, what do you guys know about Buffalo? I know you still have some research and some film to watch and everything like that, but what do you know about them so far?
I watched the first half versus Coastal before the Liberty game. They're a good team. They're going to fight hard to win. So we have to prepare well this week in order to get that W.
When a team does that, plays the 16th ranked team in the country that closely, does it catch your guys' attention?
Like I said, they're a good team. They're going to play hard. But we have to prepare well, like I just said. They're like any other team. We just got to go 1-0 each day and prepare well, like I said, to get this W this week.
Yeah, you talked about preparing well this week. Coach Rahne told us that he feels like last week things may have been a little bit unfocused, a little bit sloppy in practice. Did you feel that, and what are the keys to turning that around?
As a leader, you have to look in the mirror. So I had a couple of tackles this past week, but it wasn't my best game. So as a leader, I have to be better myself, help the ones around me, and prepare well as well.
Yeah, and then Coach Rahne talks about getting to know this team. Over the first quarter of this season, what have you learned about Coach Rahne?
He's a good man, even better coach. I'm happy to be one of his players.
A minute ago, Eric had trouble describing your class with this kind of gap year that everybody has. Does it get confusing sometimes the way you classify yourself?
Does it get confusing? Hold on, can you say your question again?
Well, when you think about what class you're in, is it hard to nail it down?
I mean, are you like a COVID redshirt junior?
Oh, no. I redshirted in 2019, that year that they played. I redshirted after my fourth game. So it's really like 2 red shirts, honestly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a hurdle I had to jump. So it was tough, but we're here now, so.
Guys are making long careers out of college football now.
Yes, sir, they are.
Anything else for RT?
RT, you guys, one of the things Coach mentioned Saturday night is he didn't think that tackling was first rate. Is that something Is he right, and is that something you guys are going to work on this week?
He's absolutely right. We have to do better tackling. We had a lot of missed tackles versus Liberty. We got, like I said, we got to prepare well this week and get better at that.
One last thing, you watch. I was watching the Buffalo game same time you were on my phone. What stood out to you when you saw them? What was good about this team?
They run the ball hard, and they're not going to back down from us. So we have to prepare well this week, like I keep saying, and focus on the game plan and prepare to win.
Yeah, you talked about being a leader. Do you consider yourself a vocal leader? Is that a role that you try to fill?
That's something I have to get better at myself. I'm not very vocal, but that's something I'm learning to do. The coaches are on me every day about it, so that's something I'm getting better at.
Have you addressed the entire team at once? Are you building up to that?
I have not did that.
That's coming.
But it's coming though.
When you get the chance to do that, what's your message to them?
We have to just keep believing in ourselves, keep working hard, and everything else will fall in line.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.